Hello friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today we're gonna be doing this very pretty, very glowy, easy, fast makeup using number one, my most used products of 2023 and also my favorite products of the year. So I was trying to think about this video, how everyone does kind of like their favorite products of the year, specifically using only new products that they purchased that year, so 2023. But I went back literally on my Sephora app to see the makeup products that I purchased, and I don't think I even purchased 10 products. Like not even 10 makeup products this year, which is a crazy thing for me to think. That being said, very unintentionally this year, makeup has not really grabbed my attention as it has in the past. Maybe it could be I'm getting older, or probably also maybe because I have a vanity full of makeup. So I've reached a point in my collection that I don't need anything. I only need to repurchase products that are, that are done, like let's say mascara, powders that I go over, and that's pretty much it. Let's be real, I haven't used eyeshadow in a very long time this entire year. And that was one of my favorite things to purchase. But now, with a vanity full of eyeshadow palettes that I don't use, it seems very ridiculous that this year I would buy anything. And I realized I only bought one single eyeshadow palette the entire year. And I think only one single shadow also the entire year, which again blows my mind. But anyway, let's stop with the chit chat. We have to go on and do this makeup with my favorite products of the year. Again, not that I bought this year, just that I've been using the most this year, 2023. If you would like to see this, please keep on watching, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe. We're gonna be doing a full face of my most used products. So I am pretty much a creature of habit, and whenever I find a product I like, I stick to it. So it is gonna be no surprise if you've been following for a little while, the products that we're gonna be going over today. So let's begin with primer. I do have 4 of them, 2 being more moisturizing and 2 being more on the glowy side. So for my moisturizers or moisturizing products, primers, we have one of my favorites for probably the past 2 years. This is the Essence Prime Studio Hydrating Primer. The problem is they don't sell this anymore, so I haven't been mentioning it as much on my channel, but I do use it pretty much every single time that I don't use this one. And this is a Honey Silk Facial Serum by the brand Hey Honey. I bought this on a whim at Ulta. I think it was one of those 21 days of beauty things events, and I got this, I want to say almost 2 or 3 years ago. So I just recently started using it, like recently this year, consistently, because it's pretty much getting old and I want to use it up. But I end up realizing that I really love it, and I for sure see myself buying this again once this is completely used up. So as someone with more drier skin, of course I do my skincare routine in the mornings, and I always wear, of course, my moisturizer. But by the time that I do my makeup, I still want to add another layer of moisture, especially right now during the more colder months. So these two have been very, very good on my routine, and sadly this is discontinued. So whenever this is done, I'm gonna try to see if I can find something else from Essence. Maybe they replaced it by another product that is the same one with new packaging. I haven't really checked. But anyway, these have been my go-to, and I let them on my skin for a few seconds, and then we move on with a more glowy one. So these two, same brand, you're probably not gonna be surprised, and that is of course Charlotte Tilbury. The first one is the Wonder Glow, and the second one is of course the Hollywood Flawless Filter. Both of these I really love equally. I don't have a preference. I mean, if I had to prefer one or the other or recommend one or the other, just because of the ways you can use it, I would go for the Hollywood Flawless Filter, because this one is like a multi-purpose. You can use as a primer, you can mix with foundations, and of course you can also use as a standalone highlighter. I've been focusing on using the Wonder Glow because it is getting pretty old. I think this is around 4 or 5 years old. It still works perfectly good. There's no weird smell, so it's still good. But I'm gonna skip it today because I've been using it consistently for the past few videos. So we're gonna go for the Flawless Filter. I really love this product. It is very easy to apply because it has a tofu, and I use it as a primer, and whenever I am wearing a more thicker, more matte foundation, I like to mix it with the foundation to just give me a bit more of a glowy finish instead of a matte one, because personally I don't love matte foundations on me. I'll still wear them, but I always like to mix them with that product to give a more natural finish instead of fully matte. And it does provide a very beautiful glow. Can you see those cheeks? So pretty. And it's more on the subtle side, just like this one, the Wonder Glow. So I really love it. If you are not a fan of having like a lot of shimmer or a lot of glow on your face, I think this provides just a very healthy, beautiful looking skin. So now, moving on to the base. So the actual foundation, this was a year for me of skin tints and sunscreen tinted product. And I have, of course, my only two products. I want to say one because they're different categories. This is a tinted sunscreen and this is an actual skin tint. So I've been using this Hourglass since I purchased, for months at this point, and then probably like half of the year, and then the remaining half of the year I've been using the Tower 28. So you can see how empty it's looking. I think I'm gonna go today for this one because, again, for the past few videos I've only been using the Hourglass. So we're gonna skip the Hourglass and go for the Tower 28. This is perfect for whenever it's hotter outside and I spend more time in the sun, because it is of course a sunscreen with a bit of a tint. And I'm gonna squeeze probably around that much, and also blending with my fingers. I love blending my bases with my fingers. I feel like it gives a more natural finish to the skin and it just looks the best. So just using my fingers. Out of all of these products, I think this next combo is my most used for over a year. So not only 2023, but also part of 2022. And that is my little corrector and concealer combination, including my Tarte corrector. I've got mine in the shade light medium. This is going to be the first step. And then a mix of my KVD concealer and then the Charlotte Tilbury. So this is just what I've been using for over a year. So you know I couldn't like not talk about it on my yearly favorites, because this has been over a year that they've been favorites. So you know they're good products and they perform how I need them to perform, and they're just favorites that will continue to be in my rotation probably forever. I don't think these products will stop working good for me, so I don't have any desire of trying anything new. Of course, I always like to try new concealers. That's probably one of the biggest things that I like to try, but I always end up going back to my two favorite concealers, which are the KVD and from Charlotte Tilbury. So, corrector is set, and I use this to cover the more purpley bluish veins around my eyes. And now for my concealers, mainly I use the KVD, and it's going to be around the areas that I have the whitest patches that the skin tints didn't cover. So around my eyes, mouth, and nose for redness. And then we move on with the Charlotte Tilbury, just a little bit on the inner corners to provide that more brightness effect to the eyes. And I'm just gonna go ahead and blend with what has been my favorite brush for corrector or concealer. And this is the Love is a Foundation brush by IT Cosmetics. For powder, my most used through the entire year has been the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless. I love this product and I will definitely be repurchasing once this one is done. But I think next time I repurchase, I might buy the translucent. I'm not entirely sure just yet, but that is the idea I've been thinking about, because sometimes this might provide a lot of color on the eyes, around my eyes, that I may not be needing. So probably the translucent would be a best option. Onto my finishing powder. I just grabbed this palette randomly, but I have 4 of this Hourglass and I use them every single time I do my makeup, specifically or especially to use my finishing powder. So this time I just grabbed this one. I think this one is like at this point 3 years old. So you see why I'm trying to use them up. And I'll use them especially around my eyes, but everywhere where I did use concealer. So around my mouth and nose area. Just a little bit of this, maybe it's already been too much. I always tell myself I need to drop my powder brush because I start just playing with it all over my face. So let's move on to the cheek category, which this is going to be probably not a surprise. And it's just what I've been loving for the entire year. I've been using these products pretty much every single time that I do my cheek products without thinking it. Because whenever I'm gonna do a video, film something, I try to rotate around different products so I'm not using the same product over and over. But on my everyday, whenever I'm just doing my makeup and I'm not trying to think about anything and I wanna do the perfect cheek combination, I go with Merit. So Merit has been my go-to for my cheeks for the past year. And let's begin with a bronzer, which is what I use to very subtly contour my face. This is a bronzer, not considered a contour, but I feel like it gives just enough definition to the cheeks that I just don't care to use a contour. This is very forgiving and it provides that little bit of warmth, but at the same time defines your face, which of course I really do love. For my highlight, I pretty much just rotate depending on what color I want to go for that day. So I've got Cava, which is your more vanilla-ish shade, I guess. And then we've got the more pinkish, which is in the shade Bounce. I think just because I've been using this one a lot, this one is definitely my most used, this shade, Cava. I really love a very pretty vanilla shade for my highlight, but depending on what I'm pairing with, I'll decide to use the more pinkish. So for today, let's just go for the pink one. Again, this is in the shade Bounce by Merit. And you can either go directly with your product on your face, or you can use a brush. I'm gonna go for the brush application. And this is just so pretty. I of course have already some kind of glow. You can see it because of this beautiful product. But let's go ahead and add more. So there's the cheek, right? With just the Hollywood Flawless filter. And then whenever we add the highlight, you can see that very pretty extra glow. It's not too much. It just provides a very nice subtle glow, which I love. You can definitely amp it up, but we're not gonna use as much today. And just whatever is remaining in the brush without adding any product, I like to go here on top of my brows. And then on just the tip of my nose, I'll grab a little bit more, whatever is remaining in my chin. So that's how it looks like. I think you can see it more on this side with just the light, the way the light is reflecting, but it's a very, very beautiful product. I love it. I cannot stop using these highlighters. Every time I open my drawer and I'm gonna pick a highlight, it's so hard to not pick that one because I really love them. So now for the blushes, of course, Merit. Just Merit has been my favorite product for my cheeks this year. And I have 3 options. One that's darker in the shade Mood. These are still in the old packaging. So here is the shade Mood. I love wearing this on a very simple, almost no makeup days. And then my most used has been for sure and by far Cheeky. This is a stunning everyday pink for my complexion. And then my newest one, which is a little bit lighter for my complexion. I think if you're lighter than myself, this would be perfect on you. This is Stockholm on the new packaging, which is absolutely adorable. It's this very pretty brighter pink. I love wearing this on the more hotter months like spring and summer. But for my everyday, we're gonna go for Cheeky, which is actually my personal favorite. But the 3 I really love. The formula is beautiful. So I'm just gonna grab my brush and I like to smile and pop this on top of the apple of my cheeks and bring it back a little bit under the eye, just to create a more seamless look, as if you were naturally flushing. Such beautiful products, and they work beautifully together or separate whenever I'm using either a different contour, different bronzer, different highlight. It's just, I love it. This is my go-to cheek routine. Bronzer by Merit, which I can't find anymore. Here we go. The bronzer, one of the highlights depending on the color I'm going for, and then one of the blushes, again, depending on what's the mood for the day. And it comes up with this very beautiful, very seamless, natural looking cheeks. I mean, if you can call this natural, but as natural as makeup can provide. So now we've got brows. Let's move on with brows so I can leave them to freeze. For the majority of the year, the Big Bulk, this had been my go-to for several years. I think this would be like my third or fourth year buying this. I can't remember, probably third. This is the Brow Freeze by Anastasia. But very recently, I want to say maybe like 2 months ago, I discovered the e.l.f. Brow Lift, and I've been a convert. So I swore by this product, but honestly, now that I have them side by side and I've been having more time to play around with the e.l.f., I prefer this one. I feel like it holds my brows for way longer, and I just like how they look better with this product. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the e.l.f. one, but if we're just talking about what I used the most during the year, it was this. But realistically, if I had found the e.l.f. product earlier during the year, this would have been my go-to. So however that would work, that's why I wanted to mention both. So I'm just gonna go ahead and freeze my brows, and then we will come back to do some mascara, some eyeshadow, because I do want to mention a few eyeshadows. I've always been a very natural makeup gal, and especially on my eyeshadow, I mean, I'm no makeup artist, so my eyeshadow application is always very natural, very simple, but especially this year, mascara, eyeshadow and I have not been too in tune with each other. I've been going for very simple eyes, just mascara, inner corner highlight, and call it a day. But whenever I do go for some kind of eyeshadow that I want to amp up my look, I of course gravitate for the one and done eyeshadows. And if you're familiar with my channel and you know anything about my eyeshadow one and dones that I love, you know Eyes to Mesmerize are at the top of the list. Nothing compares on my eyes to Eyes to Mesmerize by Charlotte Tilbury. I've been loving this product for years at this point. My very first one was Betty, which I still own and absolutely love. I got that one kind of as being influenced by Anna from the Anna Edit. I really love it. I used to watch her way back in the day, like 10 years ago, and that was one of her products that she loved. I don't know, at one point in life she decided to start using this whenever they were released, but I really love it. And ever since Betty, I've just grown my collection of Eyes to Mesmerize. I think right now I have maybe 8. I could have most of them, I think, but I don't have them all. But anyway, we're gonna be using, of course, one of them, maybe 2. Maybe I'm gonna be using both of them together. And we've got Jean, which has been my most used, because this is super beautiful, light vanilla shade, just to throw some kind of shimmer into the eyelids. But my favorite from my entire collection is by far Exaggerize. This is one of the newest that she released probably last year, I'm pretty sure, or maybe even 2 years ago, I don't remember, but I really love it. It is such a beautiful product, and the shade is absolutely stunning. Eyes to Mesmerize, Exaggerize is my favorite quad from her line. I really love that quad. So whenever she released the Eyes to Mesmerize version, I knew I had to get it, and it definitely did not disappoint. It is just stunning. It is such an easy product to use and blend. It's just a no-brainer, even if you don't know how to apply any eyeshadow at all. I just used my fingers, but now to define a bit more the crease, I'm just going to grab a smaller, just fluffy brush, and I'm going to blend this into my crease. And I'm just going to pop Jean on my inner corner just with my finger, my pinky finger, just a little bit. You see how pretty that is? It's just a lovely, lovely shade. And I'm just blending just a tiny bit to the up part of my lid, the inner part of my lid. In the past, I used to try a lot of mascaras and have a lot of mascaras open at the same time. But trying to be more conscious of my products, I've stopped doing that and I try to use up what I have open until I open a new product, especially mascara, because they go bad pretty quick and it is not super hygienic to have a lot of them and then just don't use it for months. So, that being said, my year has been mostly using Tower 28, what is this? Make Waves mascara and the Tartelette tubing mascara. I love them both and I would definitely consider myself repurchasing, especially the Tarte one. I really love it. I do like the Tower 28, but this is more like lengthening and separating. So I love using them together to prevent any clumping and making sure my lashes look as best as they can. But an old favorite before I discovered these two, and my go-to before these two, has been for years the Pillow Talk push-up lashes. So I have here a brand new little duo full size that I bought during this year's Nordstrom anniversary sale. I didn't want to open them because I was like, I have these two, I need to finish them up and then I'll start with one of these ones. But this is still one of my favorites. So keeping that in mind, these have been my most used this year because it was what I started using at the beginning of the year, but this is another favorite that I've been loving for years at this point. So anyway, let's go ahead and start. I always start first with the Tartelette and then at the very end I go on with the Tower 28 to make sure the lashes look perfected. So this is just a beautiful tubing mascara and the very first one that I've tried in like the tubing category. Let me go ahead and finish up the eyes, and then we'll be back to finish with some lipstick. We're all done with the eyes and now let's move on to lips. So this has definitely been the year for me to incorporate lip liner pretty much every time that I use some kind of lip products, either that's a lipstick or lip gloss. I've been starting all of my lip combinations with lip liners. And there's been two in particular that I've used pretty much every single time that I have any kind of lipstick, and that is either NYX Suede London in the shade London, which is a very pretty darker nude, or of course Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, my favorite. So you can tell they're getting pretty small. I really love them. Depending on what lipstick I'm gonna be wearing, I'll wear either one. Today, I think I'm gonna go for Pillow Talk because I'm gonna be using my most used lipstick in the entire year. So it's going to be more on the pinkish side, so I'm gonna skip Suede London and we're gonna go for Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips. As for lipstick, I have two options, one of them being my favorite all-time lipstick and then my most used this year. So there's two different ones. The first one is going to be by Charlotte Tilbury, my Pillow Talk lipstick. I love this thing. You can see how small it's getting. This is my most used in my entire collection. But this year, I've been grabbing more satin finish lipsticks. So this is a matte one, very comfortable, very lovely, my favorite. But this particular year, I've been using the Most Millennial by Merit Beauty. So another that's also getting pretty low. You can see there on the letters, it's imprinted Merit. I am almost getting to that part. But anyway, I think for today I'm gonna go for Merit just because realistically this has been my most used lipstick of this year. I really love it. I think the pink suits my skin tone very nicely. It's my go-to whenever I want, same thing as Pillow Talk, like whenever I don't want to think about what lipstick to wear, but I want to go for a satin formula, I'll go for Millennial. Whenever I want to go for a matte, I'll go for Pillow Talk. So today, let's go for the satin formula. So pretty. To finish up with the lip combo, this has been another year for me that I've rediscovered my love for lip gloss, and I've been using it pretty consistently. And whenever I want to grab that same kind of like the lipstick or the lip gloss that I don't have to think about, that I'm gonna love and that I just grab every single time, it's going to be Fussy by Fenty. I really love this formula. It is very stunning on the lips. It's a little bit on the thicker side, but it doesn't feel heavy on the lips, if that makes sense. So this is particularly my favorite shade. I do have a few of them that are on the smaller option that I bought, I think last year for a holiday set. But this is just my go-to and I really love the shade. And with this combo, either Millennial or Pillow Talk, it just works so lovely. And for the very last step in my makeup routine, I realized that I've been missing to show this. Like, I go back and look at my videos from this year, and almost in every single video I forgot to mention or I forget to film the very last step, which is, of course, spraying my face with a finishing spray. And this one is the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray by Charlotte Tilbury. You can see how little I have. So every single time I finish my makeup, I go with this product, except for I haven't filmed it for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and finish up this makeup. Let me know in the comments below if any of these products are also part of your favorites of the year, or which ones have been your favorites that I might need to check out. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!